even if we're not in here.
Oh, on camera.
All right, all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Living Positive San Antonio. Or are we not?
Yeah.
We are? I don't know. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Living Positive San Antonio. Today is October 13th, 2020. Today was the first day of early voting. We have a special guest with us tonight, and Wayne's going to introduce her in just a few moments. In the meantime, I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to have people introducing themselves. We're going to start on this side. We'll start with Santiago, Wayne, and Richard, and then we'll go across. Come on, Santi. Get up here. Ladies and gentlemen, the king of grinders.
Wow. How's it going, everybody? Thanks, Santiago. I'm one of the board members of Living Positive. I'm also with Ryan White, Planning Council, ESHA, and the Syphilis AIDS Task Force. Thank you for everybody joining us live tonight. Next person.
Hi everybody, thanks for joining in tonight. Guys, my name is Wayne Winches. I'm also on the board of directors with Living Positive San Antonio. I'm also an active city member on the San Antonio TGA Ryan White Health Resources Planning Council. I chair memberships and nominations. If you're interested, I would be the one that you would contact about possibly sitting on the board and participating.
Hey guys, I'm John. Yeah, happy to be here and happy you're here. Hey, I'm Tyler, here, back. Great to be here again. Hope you all enjoyed today. Hi, my name is Josh. I've been positive for 3 years now, and I'm glad we can come back and have a small group meeting with everybody. So.
Hey y'all, it's Nick. We wish you all could be here. Hope you guys are all staying safe out there, and hopefully you guys are doing well as well.
Okay, everybody. I don't know if I introduced myself, but my name is Jace. I'm the secretary of the board of directors for Living Positive San Antonio. I'm going to bring Wayne back up here, and he's going to introduce our guest speaker. Get off your computer.
Okay, tonight our special guest is someone that I'm very close to, has helped me through a lot of rocky times and hard road. You will always hear me say this name, how important it is. I think that everybody needs to be seeing this person. I'm bringing up Stacy Jouffrey. She's an LPC at the Facts Clinic at Robert B. Green campus. So, take it away.
Boy.
Thank you.
Well, hello guys. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for letting me be here. Again, my name is Stacy. I'm a licensed professional counselor, which means I got to go to school with a master's degree and get a whole bunch of training and have student loan debt. No, but really, so I've been working at the Facts Clinic for about 3 years, and all the clients that I serve are HIV positive, which means there's a huge array of different types of clients. And I feel grateful enough to be speaking here at Living Positive today. So it's going to be really laid back. So I'm going to kind of start it out, guys, with a little bit of interaction, getting you guys to answer some questions. Anybody who's on the computer, Facebook Live, if there's anything that you want to do, go ahead and, at the beginning, go ahead and like chime in a little bit to the questions that I'll be asking. So before I start, the topic I was trying to think about, I couldn't really come up with a topic. I was just worrying about, like, first of all, what would entertain you guys, like what on earth would you guys want to talk about, because more than likely you experience so much, right? So that made me think of the topic of worry. Uncertainty, being afraid. And in this time, I think we all kind of can get to those places. With that in mind, this may not seem like it's attached at all, but how many of you like to shop?
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm surprised you guys are here. Get off of your phones. I know it's Amazon Prime Day. Okay. Okay, so shopping. Who here has gone shopping within the last week?
Mark.
Okay. Wayne, what did you buy? What did you go shopping for?
Sure, something I'll go shopping 2 or 3 times a week for sure.
2 or 3 times. 2 or 3
Not
times
this
a
week,
week.
but last week we went 4 days in a row.
My business.
Okay, all right.
It's
So
therapy.
shopping.
It's therapy.
Shopping's therapy. Okay, you like to shop. All right.
I shop for food.
Okay.
Shopping
All
in
right.
budget.
When you're shopping for food, do you ever find things like on the end cap that seem like really exciting? Like, oh gosh, I gotta try that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do, and it ends up in your
I do
cart?
that impulse buying.
Yes. Okay. Tyler, you said you go shopping. What'd you go buy?
I go shop for whatever goes with my boat. And normally, if I have the money to do something, I save some of it, of course, but whatever makes me feel happy.
Makes you feel happy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Clothes, definitely.
Clothes definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else recently buy anything that they're excited that they bought? Like, love it? What'd you buy, Nick?
Oh, food.
Yeah, he's so excited about it though. Okay.
I just bought like used resistant bands. I'm doing this new workout at home that involves resistant bands. I just bought those so I can work out at home. So I was at the gym for something on workout, obviously.
All right.
I'm trying to work out at home to see what's important.
Gotcha. So you bought some resistance bands and you're gonna work out with them. Awesome.
I got a really expensive wallet.
A wallet.
Yeah.
So, but now you have no money to put in it.
Right. But I got a really expensive wallet recently, and it's taken me a long time to buy it, and I'm really excited.
So you saved. It was something you wanted for a long time, and you saved up. And
Yeah, I finally not made myself, but I allowed myself to spend that type of money because it was expensive.
what's expensive for me? Like buying a wallet that's expensive would be like $20. Is it like way more?
Yeah, it's a really wallet.
Oh.
It's a $500 wallet.
Wow. Okay, so it's something you really like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Louis Vuitton.
Oh,
Wow.
Louis Vuitton.
That's nice.
But it's really nice, and it's supposed to last for a long time.
Hopefully.
If you don't lose it.
Yeah.
I used to have a Gucci wallet, so it was like an upgrade.
Gotcha. So I think we can agree we all like to shop, right? Yeah, I shop a lot anywhere I can online, even if I can't buy things, right? But I love to shop.
So I can't do it online.
Yeah,
I see what I'm
online,
getting.
Goodwill, it doesn't matter. It's all about, oh my God, I need that, I want it, and I want it now, right? And some of you mentioned that you're doing things like saving up for what you want, right? So that takes some planning and all that, and then you get it, and then hopefully you still wanted it as much as you wanted it a couple weeks ago, But anyway, my main point on that is shopping for us can be instant gratification, which a lot of you alluded to. I want it to make me feel good. It's my therapy. It's this, right? We love the way it makes us feel. While we're shopping, we think things like, oh my God, I wonder what this person's going to think about this. I wonder if they'll like it, right? Oh, I saw this person had that. Maybe that'll help me fit in more or anything like that. I know when I buy things, as soon as I notice it's shipped, I'm tracking it like 8 times a day. Where are you? Have you left California yet? Okay.
That's what I
Is it
do.
still on time? And down to the time that my little Echo Dot tells me it's delivered. And then I'm watching the driver, 6 stops away, hurry up. So with this in mind, I was trying to think, again, I was worrying about what topic we were going to talk about. And so that's why I'm going to talk about worry. Way back when we were originally humans living in the Stone Ages and stuff, our brains were utilized for things that are very different. Wired to protect us in the moment, right? So we would get worried about, so let's just say, like, I've read this example, so I'll use it. You know, if we're talking about a giraffe's out in the wild, doing his thing. You know, the giraffe all of a sudden realizes, I'm hungry. Okay, I think I'll walk over there, I'll eat some leaves, right? Then the giraffe realizes, oh my God, it's actually going to rain here. I better go look for some cover. So then the giraffe worries a little bit about where they're going to go. They find some cover, and then they're safe. The storm goes away. Then they see a lion, right? And then the giraffe thinks, oh my God, what am I going to do? I need to protect myself. So the giraffe runs, gets to safety, and then the giraffe is just back to their normal giraffe business, right? As humans, unfortunately, our brains are wired that way, but we don't live in that type of society, right? So a giraffe lives in what would be known as like an immediate return environment. And the reason I talked about shopping is because that's exactly what that does for us. It's an immediate return. We buy, we're rewarded, right? However, our society for the last 200 years or whatever is more of a delayed return. The people who are saving up. In a way, the bands you bought, right? Because you're actually buying those bands because you know that you're going to use them to work out, and on a daily basis they're going to get you towards a goal of having a nice and toned up body, right? And they're going to get you to that goal. So that delayed return. And when we live that way, it leads to chronic stress and anxiety. Okay? Chronic stress, anxiety, fear, everything. So who here recently has worried about something in their life? Anything?
Yeah.
Did anybody worry at all about like what they were going to wear today?
All the time.
Every day.
Every day. Okay. And so when you worry about what you're going to wear, what are some thoughts that go through your head?
A little cute.
Okay.
Do I look bad?
Do I look fat? Do I look
If I can get it on.
Yeah. For some people, if you can get it off, right? You know. Right. So all of these things, these worries are, you know, am I going to look cute? Are these? So really, what are these people going to think about me? Are they going to accept me? Are they going to judge me? Do I look fat? You know. Is that something that I've struggled with? Oh my God, so now do I eat this? Do I eat that? Or do I not eat that in front of that person? Or, you know, maybe if I wear this and with black, it'll make me look thinner and this person will like me more. Whatever it is. So we worry and we worry and we worry. Anyone worry about things that aren't immediate, like maybe in the next week or the next month, or you have a big test coming up, or you're thinking you might possibly lose your job, or you're worried about a ticket you have, or you have a pending legal case? Anyone worry about those types of big events that are way out in the future?
Yeah.
I think we all do. Either we worry about the rent, our next car payment,
Okay.
making sure we're gonna have this, that, and the third.
Okay, so finances. So for some of you, the finances are on a month-to-month basis. So you have to budget, and then does anyone here worry that that check is or is not going to come in? Are you not going to have enough? Every week.
Every week.
Okay. So these worries, they build up. They build up so much, and now we have the uncertainty of COVID, and we add all of that. We're worried all the freaking time, right? And sometimes we let our guard down and we forget whatever, you know, you forget your mask and all of a sudden you're at a place like, oh great, I can't go in, I forgot my mask, or you're lifting up your shirt. But anyway, we worry a lot. Anyone have any idea of why we worry?
Out of fear.
Fear? For sure. Fear.
Fear, not just fear, but fear of being accepted.
Fear of being accepted. Okay, so fear is behind a lot of worry. Fear of not having your basic needs met, right? Not having enough money, not being able to eat, not being able to pay your rent, fear of being homeless. So those basic needs are in jeopardy. Fear. Okay. So why do we worry? Control? Okay. And then what would you say?
So you can't force it to be realistic control as well.
Yeah. So worry is our way of sense false control of the future, right? So we feel that, I don't know if any of you have been right about your worry before, but I know I've worried a lot about things in my life, and so I'll do tons of research, everything to validate what I want to happen, right? And then I'm worrying to the point where I've got every alternative strategy out there to happen if this happens, but what if this happens, what if this happens, what if this happens, right? So I've got all these ideas of how I'm going to approach this problem. And so I worry about it till it's ridiculously insane to the point where I can't sleep. You know, I'm not eating right because it's got me all screwed up. Some people, their blood pressure goes up, panic attacks. Some people turn to drugs, alcohol, because they're worrying so much. Then they get a little too drunk, and the next thing you know, they're like crying and being a big baby and all this dramatic stuff over this worry.
Yep, I see that all the time.
I feel like that happened to me as like a kid. Like one time I lost tickets and my mom like gave me money to go buy a school for, and then I lost them.
Uh-oh.
And it was her money, and so like I feel like that. What you explained was like I literally thought every day I was like maybe they flew out the window, maybe they didn't, like you know, just making up all these because I was so scared to go tell her like, girl, basically I lost my money. Like,
Yeah.
I lost your $40.
Yeah. But if you would have thought about,
like it was like game tickets for like a football game, but I was in high school. I was like
Sure.
14. I was like 14 or 15, so I was like so scared. Like that was a lot of money to me at 14 years old.
so you came up with all these ideas of how to say what happened.
Right, to say what happened or figure out a way that it didn't, or like try to figure out how I can get 40 bucks to these two kids. Like,
What happened when you finally told the truth?
I mean, she was mad that I lied, but I mean, we went and bought more tickets and went to the game that night.
Okay. So everything that you had worried about and thought, did any of it come true?
I mean, her being mad, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So therefore your worry, it's correct, right? It's good to worry because it's right? So because that came true, it makes you think that worrying actually helps, right? But in reality, it just is a coincidence that it happened to align with one of your thoughts, right? And we believe it falsely that worrying actually can change and control the future, because it can't. You know, I'm sorry. If you get drunk, get in a car accident, and you kill someone, I don't think you can worry your way out of it, okay? You're going to have consequences, right? And you're probably going to have a lot of consequences, right? So that's an extreme example, but bottom line, worry never helps us. Never does, okay? So people would argue that worry does help, right? But I'll just say that worrying doesn't help, okay? Having a plan and a strategy, very specific goals that you can measure on how you're going to deal with it today in the moment, right? So if something is like so far out in the future, say for instance this $500, Louis Vuitton wallet, right? The goal is to get this wallet, right? And it's going to save his life. It's going to make everything better. So worrying about how you're going to get the wallet isn't going to make it appear in his pocket. So you have to deal with it today. You know what? Today, I'm not going to go buy a new shirt. I'm going to save this money. And today, okay, I'm $20 closer to that wallet. So breaking your problems down into small ones, right? So for a lot of people here who are living with HIV and things like that, when you're first diagnosed with HIV, there's a lot of worry that comes to mind. Lots of worry. So a lot of times before you even get the confirmation of a diagnosis, you put off going to a doctor because you think that if you just put it off, it's never going to be reality, right? And then you worry, and you worry, and you worry about possible partners, anyone else. You worry about if people aren't going to like you again, if you're ever going to be able to date. All these crazy things start entering your little, soap opera head. Okay, you're creating novellas in your head, right? And so this worry again can be detrimental. You're not going to go out anymore. So anyone so far from the things that I've talked about, can you think now of the times that you've worried to a place where you've had a hard time going to sleep, where it's caused you stress?
Past 2.5 years that I've been through, I've almost lost my life 3 times. That has worried me craziness, and it's prevented me from sleeping at night. I was always thinking, what is going to happen? It's going to get worse. I'm not going to be able to make it through this. I have been able to make it through, so I have to realize that, okay, I need to calm down on how I'm thinking about things, because it's not helping me. It's not making me get better.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm now in AIDS and I'm down to a 15.
Right now?
Yes, then that's scaring me.
Yeah.
Because I was in the hospital, they didn't have medication to give me. And I'm like, I'm in the hospital, you should have this medication available to patients. And
Yeah.
so that dropped me down even further. So I'm going back up now being on the medication, and I'm trying to look at everything on a daily thing. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to think tomorrow, the next day, because I'm in today. This is all I have right now. Is
Yeah.
today. So it's gotten better. But yeah, the past 2.5 years, I've been worried about everything.
Yeah.
With getting in the hospital, out of the hospital, almost losing my life, that has scared me.
Sure.
So, and it made me worry about every little thing in the world, and it shouldn't have been like that. And knowing that I'm getting better right now, it's like, okay, I can stop thinking that way about things, and it's helped.
So before you were turning things into catastrophes,
Right.
but now you realize that the only thing that you can do today is to do what the doctors tell you,
Right.
take your medication,
Right.
right? Try to get healthy,
Right.
right? Work
Exactly.
out.
Yeah.
And since you've been doing that, is it easier to go to sleep at night, realizing you can't control what?
Well, every 4 hours I have to wake up for another medication.
Okay.
So, but
Yeah.
I'm getting 2 hours between those 4 hours. So I'm not getting what I need to get or we should get, However, it is helping. At least I'm sleeping a little bit. It's better than not sleeping at all. Or only going an hour of sleep a night. Yeah, that was horrible. But, I get about 2 hours, 2.5 hours before the next 4 hours, take my medicine, but it's helping.
Sure.
I'm able to calm down when I want to go to sleep and not worry about everything all the time, what I was doing.
Sure. Definitely. So breaking it down into small, attainable goals each day. Because even if we get COVID, we have no idea what would happen, right? We could be that a couple percent that get really, really sick. We could be the people that don't even know we have it, like whatever, but, we don't know. It's still uncertain. Anyone, go ahead.
So I'm just kind of commenting on some on the line stuff.
Okay.
And this is not a question, it's a remark, but it could be a question.
Okay.
And it says, I don't know why, but that's when I do the most thinking. When I'm trying to sleep, I hate that and don't know why it happens that way.
Yeah.
Do you have a
Yeah.
response to that? Like, why is that when it's sleep
worst.
time that it's always the worst?
I mean, it would make sense that it's probably because there aren't any other distractions. Sleep time is our time for our brain to try to heal and get into those different sleep stages. But when you're preparing for sleep, your brain doesn't get there because all it's doing is thinking over and over about these things that are going to hurt you, right? So your body's still in fight or flight response, that animalistic state, and how am I going to fix this threat that's coming at me, right? This lion. I can't fix this. The giraffe had a sense of control. He could leave and solve the problem right there. But unfortunately, at night, we worry. And we worry a lot. And so people would say meditate, do different things, think about what it is right there in that moment that you can actually control about those thoughts, right? Because most of the time the thoughts that are going through our head in that circumstance, we can do absolutely nothing about. But our brains are creative and they are not always our best friend, right? Like what's that song, My Own Worst Enemy, right?
Do you think people start thinking about things, especially when they go to sleep, because they've actually stopped doing whatever it was that distracted them during the day?
Yeah, no distractions. It's quiet. Or, that's why some people, I like to sleep with the TV on. It drowns out any of that background noise. Now, they don't actually suggest that, so earplugs and a mask, but then I'm thinking if you're really having a lot of problems with thoughts, an earplug's just going to trap those thoughts in there even more. So it's really about these things, again, that are out of our control, and there's nothing to distract us. That's why shopping, immediate gratification. Oh, let me go drink. That's going to make me feel better. That'll distract me, right? Let me get on Grindr and go on a date. That's going to distract me for a while, right? Let me... Hey.
I mean, that is a distraction for some people, though.
It is. It very well
Some
is.
ways to do it right now at this point, though, do you think? Like this whole epidemic's going on, pandemic's going on, I think the safest thing to do is let someone be a caregiver and up with our health issues, like that's not.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not necessarily safe, but what people do doesn't necessarily always mean that it's rational, right? And even our thoughts about worry, they're not rational. Because we absolutely can't change anything. Like I said, we cannot worry it away. We can't. The only thing we can do is plan, set goals, and achieve those short-term goals and hope that the next day we have the opportunity to reach that goal again, right? So if your goal is to go walking every day, but the next day it gets interrupted, all of a sudden you get an emergency phone call from someone, you need to go help them, or your dog runs away, whatever, and you're having to put up signs. Things interrupt our plans all the time. They do. And again, it's uncertainty.
So along that lines, Daniel Pineda, who is on line right now, on live, he says he wants to know what your thoughts on using outdoor activities to help worry less.
Outdoor activities? Well, I guess it depends on what you're doing outdoors, right? But yes, anything that you can do that's going to enhance your being in touch in the moment, right? So we could be outdoors and still not be in touch with what's going on there in the moment, not being present. But if you're going outdoors and you're engaging in things like hiking, and you're looking around and being present with nature, enjoying those types of things. Some people like to run out on trails, some people like to bike, some people like to be on water, and that's great, because for that moment you're actually in the present. And when you're in the present, you don't worry about the future and you don't think about the past, because neither of those things exist anymore. Okay? Things that happened in the past, they're in the past, and we can't change them. So getting present with nature, things like that, meditation, some people like yoga. Some people like to just listen to music and drift away with that. Some people paint. Many different things that you can do to be in the moment. If I'm like here right now and I say, okay, Diet Cola with on point sign, camera. When I'm actually looking at these things here that are present around me, it's really hard for me to distract myself and think about something else. It's hard to do. When you see a Major League Baseball player, basketball player, football player playing a game, I bet you when they're focused, they're batting, getting ready to possibly hit the winning home run or something, they're not thinking about their problems at home. They're focused in the moment. And that's why they're good at what they're doing in the moment, right? So present tense is the only thing we have. We only have right now. We don't even know what's going to happen when we walk out of this building.
I mean, that is true. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. And actually, my psychiatrist said the same thing. But some people still stress. I mean,
sure.
You're stressing over, it's like, am I going to be able to get my Social Security?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to lose money for this? And how bad is COVID going to hit us?
Yeah.
When are they going to start the meetings again so I can go live or meet with my friends at Living Positive San Antonio at one partner?
Yeah.
Stuff like that stresses a lot of people, especially people
Sure.
that are already depressed as is,
Yeah.
and they were going to groups, to AA meetings and whatnot.
Yeah.
Them being closed in is already getting worse for them.
Sure.
And now they're drinking more. And that's the other thing. Once they start getting depressed, they're drinking more. Where now they were drinking maybe once a week. Now they're drinking every day.
Sure.
A full bottle of vodka or something like that.
Yeah, now it can be delivered too, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that people are worried about the COVID thing. A lot of people that RSVP'd to come to this meeting decided not to come
Because of COVID.
because of COVID. I mean, they
But you
decided,
gotta understand, guys.
and that's understandable.
Worry, first of all, worry is normal. We all worry. Okay, but there's a point where worry can be detrimental to our happiness, right? Where we worry too much, right? So worry can motivate us to start making changes. Worry gets us into an uncomfortable state that we fear that we're in danger, so we get activated to take action. And that's the action is what actually helps that anxiety get lower, right? So when you realize that you may not get your Social Security check, what do? You get on the phone with Social Security, you find out if they need more paperwork, what are you missing, what can I do? And you start taking these actions towards it, right? If you're worried about being overweight or you don't like the way that you look in a certain pair of jeans, you're gonna worry about it all the time until you take some action, right? And that action can be eating more cookies and then they don't even fit at all, right? You can't even like jump into them, right? So now you just gotta get new jeans. Now you got fat jeans and the jeans that don't fit, right? Yeah. So two different sides. You know, I store mine in like places I can't see them until I think that I've taken enough action to get back to those, right? And that action is what relieves some of that anxiety, right? But to get motivated enough to do that, you know, it's hard to all of a sudden make changes in your life because it takes work. Again, we want that immediate gratification. We want to drink. We want to go shopping. We want to have sex. We want to go gamble. Who knows? Whatever it is, immediate gratification, and there's nothing wrong with some of it. There isn't, you know, but we just have to know why we're doing it, right? If it gets to a point where it's dangerous, then we might need to reevaluate it somewhat. But the drinking, you know, it's drugs right now. Geez, people are dying out there, guys, and not from COVID. You know, overdoses, alcoholism, combinations of drugs, grinder and meth, you name it. You know, and it's all because that people don't want to live in the moment. They want to change everything about how they feel because they don't feel comfortable in their own skin, right?
You're right, that is the problem right now. There's a lot of people that don't feel comfortable, so they do a lot of stuff, more drinking, more drugs, more everything.
Yeah.
But then they also get this liquid courage
Sure.
to be more anal, per se.
Or adventurous, yes. Yes,
Okay.
I hear you. Yeah.
So, it frightens all of us, you know, when you see somebody killing themselves softly. You know, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, we talk to them and tell them, hey, you need to slow this down or whatnot,
Yeah.
but they want to do it. You can only bait people so much,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you know, addiction is, first of all, a horrible disease, right? For anybody who's ever dealt with it themselves or knows someone who has, you know, it's not the same as somebody else who can, you know, go out for drinks, you know, and even if they get drunk, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the disease of alcoholism, right? It means they got drunk, they drank too much, right? But the difference between those two mentalities is what is causing the alcoholism, and that's a way another topic, but I could really go into that kind of thing because it's killing people. And some people, you know, get sensitive around it because they're like, well, I drink, you know, what's wrong with drinking? Well, there's nothing wrong with drinking. First of all, the alcohol was never the problem. The alcohol was the solution, right? People drink forever because, you know what, it loosens you up. You go to business meetings so that you can, you know, when people are having fundraisers or raffles, and serve alcohol to the people so they're looser with their Louis Vuitton wallet, you know? Spend more money. Spend more money, right? Because we're more impulsive when we are under the influence of something, right? We would do things that we normally wouldn't do. All of a sudden, I am no longer that. I am queen of the world. And I can do anything, and everybody should love me, you know? And there are benefits to it, you know? On certain drugs, sex is more pleasurable. It is, right? But it's when it crosses that line to no longer being able to do something recreational and now it's controlling your life, right? Destroying your life.
Daniel put a comment out there that maybe we should put out there. It says, what are some ideas for someone who doesn't want to put in the work to overcome an addiction?
If they don't want to put in the work?
Yeah. I mean, is there steps we can take to...
You mean like an intervention type of
Like an intervention
so like,
type thing?
what are the steps that we can take to help someone else who doesn't
Yeah.
want to put in the work?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
If people don't want to
They
I mean,
have to be.
I feel like they have to hit rock bottom,
right?
I personally think they have to want to
Well,
do it to begin with.
The first thing that you can always do is you can let the people know that there's help. You care about them and you support them and you notice that, you know, that they might be dealing with a problem, you know. You can guide them in the right direction. You can offer them the help. You can let them know what opportunities are out there for help, you know, but it's ultimately going to take them to get themselves help. And there will become a point in any addiction, more than likely, if it was left untreated, that the addiction will take care of itself, okay? Because they're going to end up covered up, locked up, or sobered up, right? They're going to end up in the ground dead, they're going to end up behind bars, or they're going to finally realize that they have to sober up. And those are the only three options for somebody who's a true addict or alcoholic. You know, because it's eventually going to kill them. It's a progressive fatal disease like cancer, like diabetes, like anything else. Left untreated, it will kill you.
Do you think that there's any way to help a person like that, or do they have to come to the realization that they have to have the help?
Well, we can't force anyone to get help. I mean, think about some of the people who get diagnosed with HIV, right? Not everybody takes their medicine, right?
But do you have to let them hit rock bottom? I mean, it's sad to say you have to let them so they can learn from the mistake.
Real quick,
but sometimes they don't learn from the mistake.
The mistakes never change a person. Okay? People have had probably tons of consequences for their behaviors already. You know, being so annoying because they're always so drunk and passing out at people's houses, or getting so drunk they pee on their friend's couch, or they passed out, they tripped on while they're dancing in the club, spilled drinks all over people. Now nobody wants to hang out with them. Their parents kicked them out another time because they told them another car. They don't care. They found another friend to go live on his couch. Now they're there. They got kicked out of school because they stopped showing up. They finally got a job that was going kind of well, and then they ended up getting fired because they called in too many times. They're still drinking. People end up homeless. They're still walking around the streets using meth, shooting up dope. They're still drinking. Rock bottom and consequences don't change it, okay? So the bottom line is the person has to be ready. They have to recognize, first of all, that they want to change. I had a client one time, heroin addict, had been a heroin addict most of her life, and ended up getting HIV, going to AIDS. She was an IV drug user, ended up with abscesses so bad on her body that she ended up they wanted to do a study on her, first of all, that's how bad the abscesses were, okay? And then had to be in a nursing home for a while, gets out, and has to go live with her family that doesn't like her that much, her children, right? She's older, probably, well, I don't know, she looked like she was 70, she may have been 50, I don't know. And one day she came into my office and I looked at her and I go, if you don't get help soon, you're gonna die. And she goes, but you know what? I don't have anything else. Life isn't worth living without heroin. Okay? So that person, what do you do for them? I can't commit them. I can't make them. Right? You can't make someone take their IV medication. You cannot make them unless they're immediately a danger to themselves or others. The next week she died. Okay? So that's somebody who is coming for help. But the bottom line is that she doesn't want to stop the drug. Okay, because think about how powerful drugs are. Think about how it is when you first fall in love with somebody and all of a sudden you're getting all these endorphins and then it gets rushing, or you meet up with someone that for the first time and that feeling that you get. Okay, for any of you who haven't used drugs now, or any of you who haven't used drugs, imagine that feeling times like 100,000, and it feels that good. Instantly all your problems go away. All that worry is gone for however long you're on that drug. Then your only worry is how do you get it again, right? No matter who you hurt to get it, right? Doesn't matter. But anybody who's ever struggled with addiction can tell you it progressively gets worse. It never gets better. It only gets better once you stop.
So
anyone have any experience with that?
So mine's not the experience. I got plenty of that. We don't want to go there. We know that. I want to follow up to what you're saying. Sylvia De Los Santos, who's online, says, can your sex addiction kill you? I think it can kill your spirit, thinking that it's all you're worthy of, being a piece of meat for people.
Meaning, can your sex addiction kill you?
It says we always talk about drugs and alcohol, but what about sex?
Sex is an addiction, very much so, because it does change everything. There's Alcoholics Anonymous. Overeaters Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous. There is Sex and Love Anonymous. There's Crystal Meth Anonymous. You name it, there's an anonymous for it, right?
There's Dependency Anonymous or something.
Yeah, Al-Anon. There's all of it. So the thing about things like sex addiction is, can it kill you? You're not going to overdose on sex, I don't think, okay? But you are going to have it greatly disrupt your life to the point where it can become disruptive. you know, to the point where, you know, you're at work and you're leaving your job real quick to go sneak off and have sex. Now you're putting your job in jeopardy, okay? And then you're at home, now you're cheating on your spouse or partner or whoever it is. You know, you're sneaking out to do that, and you've got all these lies and all these secrets. Then you're, you know, having to lie about hotel rooms and lie about this. Or, you know, maybe you're not even lying. Maybe you're just having sex all the time and you're not in a relationship and you have a fixed income, but you're just having sex all the time, right? So now you're not even engaging really with people. There's no real depth to anything, you know. It's that instant gratification, you know. Sex is just like another shot of crystal meth in your arm, right? Yeah, you can die from it. You can get HIV. Right? And if you don't take meds, you're going to die from AIDS. If you don't take your meds, you will eventually die. You know, and a lot of times when it comes down to sex, drugs, and everything, we're very impulsive. We don't plan out the occasion. And in the heat of the moment, if you're just got back from a bar, you're drunk, whatever, you know, that idea of using a condom just doesn't really matter at the moment. You know, because right then and there, it's working and you're gonna use it, right? So you're gonna do it. But yes, it could definitely lead to the point of like severe major depression, horrible anxieties. Some people can become horribly agoraphobic, panic attacks, all that kind of stuff, withdrawal, and possibly lead to suicide. So yes, it could kill you. Not the same way as an overdose of heroin, right? Not the same way as getting liver disease, not the same way as other things. But yes, it can kill you. Anything we do to excess can kill you in a sense, right? Drinking too much water can kill you. You know, the main thing is you got to ask yourself this question. Is the sex that I'm having impacting my life in multiple ways? Is it keeping me from being happy? And that's when you know the addiction has become something that is no longer positive for you. It's no longer doing what it used to do for you, right? Drinking used to be fun, but now I have to have it or I shake. Or I'm sweating. Or, I can't get through the day. Heroin, it used to be something that I just did on the, or meth, it used to be something I just did on the weekends, and now every once in a while I'm sneaking out and hitting the pipe, And it has nothing to do with sex. And then again, sex addiction is hand in hand with crystal meth. It's very hard to quit a crystal meth addiction if you're still going to be going out and having sex, because as soon as you have sex, you're going to think it's not going to be as good as with meth, so now I better use meth. Or I'm not going to have sex now that I'm not using meth because I'm not going to be as good. Or, I won't even be able to perform. Because it loosens that muscle.
Do you really think that? I mean, do you really think
across
to be a sex addict, you were pretty much a meth addict?
No. If the two were combined in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if somebody was using meth, going to if that was their thing, they did meth and sex parties and all that kind of stuff, and they were combined addiction. Okay. People can certainly be a sex addict without meth. People can certainly be a meth addict without sex. Okay. But when they're combined, they're very hard to separate, because now you're using two things that make you feel great. All right. So how hard would that be? Right.
What if you use one to find the other?
Possibly. It just depends. Only the person who uses can determine what they are. Okay, it's not my place to ever tell them.
I can speak from personal experience. I have not had sex since I stopped using meth, and I correlate the two very, very. Even if I'm getting horny and I'm masturbating in my bed, and I'm watching videos or something like that.
Yeah.
It scares me sometimes, because sometimes I will be like, I want to do meth at the same, or I'll watch a video and I'm like, there's no way these guys are not high. There's no way that they're not high feeling this good in this video, and I just get those thoughts where it scares me, and it's that's a very, very common thing. I'm struggling with it now, so.
Sure. No, that's I totally understand.
So I haven't had sex since I started using meth in February, so. Yeah,
because it's a trigger. Sex is definitely a trigger for people who, equate those things to sex. But there is a healthy way. There are people who recover from these things. They do, and they can gain a healthy sex life back. You can, but it takes time, and it depends on what your motivation is. Right? It really depends on what you want. Because if you want to do meth, you're going to keep doing meth. If you want to drink, you can keep drinking. If you want to worry about everything and worry yourself to death, you're going to worry, right? It's when we finally step back and realize that we're hurting ourselves. You know, I probably worried myself. Anyone ever go through a breakup?
Oh, never.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. How many people lost a little bit of weight after they broke up? Had a big breakup.
Opposite.
You gained weight. Okay, you lost weight. Okay. Anybody start going out, doing a lot of crazy things after a breakup?
No.
Okay. Anybody just
I
decided?
got really sad after a breakup.
Okay, so you stayed home, isolated, cried, felt angry.
Went in the hospital. All of this happened. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, you know, when we're uncertain, when things in our life change, we worry. Oh, I wonder who they're going out with now. I wonder what they're doing. Let me see if I can get on their Facebook page and figure out who they're talking to. Okay. Let's see who I can talk to. Oh, look, they checked into that place. I wonder what they're doing. Oh, so did they. They checked in there. Then again, we could just ask Wayne what happened.
I was just fixing to laugh.
So the topic definitely jumped paces, but you know, it's the same thing. You know, are you waking up every day worried that you're not going to have another fix or this or that you know that you don't even know what your own purpose in life is, right? A lot of people who get sick with HIV, things in their life change dramatically. They get so sick, they lose their job, they lose this, or they've been sick for so long, or they were sick and now they're healthy and they thought that they were going to die 20 years ago and they're not dead, but they wasted all their money and they just partied because they thought they were going to die anyway, and here they are 40 and they never accomplished their goals.
I got HIV in 2008.
2008.
So
12 years ago.
Yeah, so it's been a long time, but even coming down to AIDS, I know it's going to get better.
Okay.
You know, as long as I take
So
medication.
8 years ago when you got diagnosed, what did you do to cope?
I actually tested people before I was even diagnosed with HIV. So I was testing. So I would test myself every 3 months because I would be able to do it at home, and I had someone else do it. During Christmas, actually, right before Christmas is when I found I had HIV, and that hurt me for about 3 months.
Okay. What did you do to cope?
I went to the doctor. I knew I had to go to the doctor. I had to get everything and what I had to take for the HIV, which were 3 pills back then, horse pills.
Yeah.
And you know, I had to teach other people before I even got HIV what they needed to do to make sure they lived.
So you went to the doctor and you got medication.
Right.
Okay, that's great. That's the perfect thing that you should do, but that's not necessarily coping.
Well, but teaching other people.
Well, I'm gonna ask another thing. Anybody do anything harming to themselves when they got diagnosed or when they've heard of bad news? Anybody go out and start, you know, drinking more, or using drugs or whatever?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what started my addiction. My drug, that's what, yeah, so when I found out I had HIV, I was in the military, and it went from like drinking, like, oh, I'm gonna drink some wine because I don't feel good, and then I'm gonna drink a whole bottle of wine, I'm gonna drink 2 bottles, and then, oh, you know, I'm not gonna get tested, so I'm gonna start smoking weed, and it just went, like, nothing made me feel better, obviously, and it was like to the point of like I was,
Yeah.
and I basically like wanted to die, like I felt like I wanted to die, and so, yeah, I did a lot of drugs, I tried drugs I had never tried before, I got addicted, that's what got me addicted to meth, and I went on like a test,
Yeah.
and I never thought I would do drugs or meth or cocaine and stuff like that, and yeah, so that's how I coped with it. That's what I did. I self medicated, but it was very, very harmful, and then also like mentally, like I would beat up on myself, like when I would go to the gym, like I tried to go to the gym a lot at first, like that was my first coping mechanism, but it was because I was so worried about the way that I looked, like, oh, I don't want to look sick, and I don't want to look like I have AIDS, and so it was like I had lost weight, but it was because I was working out like so hard, and then I still would like, mentally I was just like, oh, I'm fat. I walk into the room and it feels like a scene from Mean Girls, everybody's just looking at me, everybody knows, and everybody like, and it sounds ridiculous, but it was like, that's the type of anxiety and the worry that I had when I found out I had HIV, and it was that extreme to where I was like, I could, and that's what made me, I feel like, start doing like drugs and stuff. I feel like, because in that scene, like nobody asked questions, nobody cared, like nobody
fit in there, you were accepted.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. You know, that's definitely, you know, what can happen sometimes. People use unhealthy coping skills. For some people, you know, it doesn't ever get to the point where it's, you know, where it's that bad. You know, some people are more prone to different types of addictions than others, you know. But I can certainly tell you this, that, you know, none of those drugs or alcohol are going to solve your problem. You know, it's not going to make AIDS go away. It's not going to make you go to the doctor and all of a sudden have your medication at home. It's not going to make COVID go away. It's not going to make more money appear in your bank account, you know. So, but it distracts you. And for some people, it helps you sleep. For some people, it allows them to have more sex. For some people, it allows them not to feel so damn miserable, feel okay in their skin, right? Have a little bit of joy, you know. But that's for each and every one of you to decide, you know, if you're going to extremes on that, you know. That's not my place, you know. But if people ever are to the point where they do want to make changes, you know, there are ways to help it, you know. There are. Did anybody else have any other questions?
No, but you talking about the addiction and HIV. I would like for you to let everybody know about Strong Arm.
Okay.
Because
sure.
it's a program that I think a lot of people who have addictions and are HIV
Yeah.
positive, who are working with things like that, would
Yeah.
be interested in.
Yeah. So I work for University Health System, and you know, they're great for some things, but they don't advertise very much. You know, they're the county hospital. So most people haven't really heard of Strong Arm within the HIV community much, but basically what it is a grant from the government, right, to help people who are diagnosed with HIV or at risk of getting HIV, who suffer with any type of, and you know what, they don't even have to suffer, who use substances, okay? I've even gotten people in it for cigarettes, okay? But the main thing is that this grant is targeting is the risky behaviors that happen when drugs, alcohol, and then sex get combined, right? So their ultimate goal, the grant, right, is to decrease the spread of HIV, okay? So what their thought process is if we can help treat these substance use and these risky behaviors, then maybe it will decrease, you know, some of the new HIV cases. Now, that's great. You know, that's a great grant, perfect, all of that. But where I come into this is the grant allows people to get counseling for free. So if you're using any type of substances, whether you want to stop or not, you can come to counseling. That's not what I'm there for. I'm not there to make you stop. I'm there to try to help you deal with whatever it is you want to deal with, right? Because again, like I said, the alcohol isn't the problem. The alcohol is the solution. The problem is up here, okay? So when you work on the problems up here, the other things begin to sort themselves out. So the grant allows people who, and like I said, you don't have to be HIV positive. So if you're negative and you're dating someone who's positive, or it's a family member of someone who's positive, and you use any type of drugs, substances, or anything, and you're at risk of getting HIV, you also qualify. So it includes counseling for free, so there's no limit to it. I mean, if you wanted to, you could come every day of the week, not Saturday or Sunday, because I'm not there. But you could still come, I just won't be there.
3 days a week.
Yeah, you can come 3 days a week, you can come once a month, you can come once a year, I don't care. That's not the point, it's what you want. I always have suggestions, but that doesn't matter. You know, it's what are you willing to do. Then also you can get it into lifetime intensive outpatient program, which currently they're doing through Zoom because of COVID, which is I think 3 days a week for about 3 hours each time. And it also, if anyone is court ordered to any type of like substance abuse treatment, that sometimes can help you with your legal cases. You can get it signed by the people there, you have a certificate. You do have to be sober at your time through lifetime, okay? It doesn't make any sense because they're wanting me to work with people who have an active substance problem, but yet they have to go to lifetime and be sober. Okay, so anyway, if you want to go there, we need to get you to pass a drug test.
I was going to ask that. So sobriety also means being able to clear a drug test.
Yes. Yeah. So if anyone doesn't, so in recovery groups like AA or other things like that, sobriety means total sobriety, which means you're not using any illegal substances or alcohol. Okay? Or legal substances that aren't prescribed to you. Okay? So you're not sober if you quit meth but you're still drinking. You're not sober if you still smoke pot. Okay? It's a mind-altering substance, and that's just lingo. It doesn't matter. You know what? I would much rather, I'd rather people be off of hard stuff, and then we can deal with the other stuff later. But that's a different story again. Ultimately, I'd love people to be healthy.
But what if your addiction was not alcohol? What if your addiction was just meth and this, that, and third, a heavy drug, and alcohol was your occasional thing? Why would you want to quit that?
Because one can lead to the other.
But what if it never did that for you?
Well, then that's your choice. Okay, you just don't say you're completely sober. You just say I'm sober from meth, or I stopped using meth. I'm a recovering meth addict, or you say nothing. Okay, so for some people they can go out and drink and not be tempted to do other drugs, but for some people, as soon as they put alcohol in their body, they're running to the crack house. They're running to get dope.
I mean, it's just like going to a bar and you're telling everybody you're sober. But you mean you're sober from being
so that
and then they're like, oh,
yeah.
You said you're sober, but I see you drinking.
Yeah.
Well, I never said I was alcoholic.
Yeah.
What I said was I was an addict, and I was sober from doing drugs.
Yeah. So don't use the word sober. Just say, I haven't used meth in like 5 years. Yeah.
Like I was saying.
But you know what? It's also not anybody else's business. It's only their business if you want to tell them.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It is nobody's business.
Yeah. And even the alcoholic who wants to keep drinking, they can. Right? It's their choice. It is their choice.
If they control the alcohol.
No, but see, that's the problem, is an alcoholic can't control their alcohol. So, but what I'm saying is it's going to be ultimately
Your choice.
Yeah. Unless an alcoholic is in recovery, that would actually mean that they have control over it. It's never really their choice. Because once the alcohol enters their body, there's lack of control. You never know where you're going to end up.
So one does open up the other.
It can, because you got to remember what alcohol does to your body. It changes your brain chemistry. You're impulsive. You don't have his best judgment. Who's done something when they drank that they regret? Who's had to check their Facebook page or whatever social media page they do the next day and wonder what they may have posted? Right? Who needs to check their text message to see who they texted? Oh my God, that ex from 10 years ago? Why did I do that?
I don't get people to do that. I lose my phone if anything.
Yeah, well that's
I
good.
see it right now.
Yeah, but some people, again, it's that lack of impulse control. And once somebody puts some alcohol in their system, they may, all of a sudden, a friend's got a line of Coke, you want to use it? Yeah, sure. Because now I can drink more. Right? And it can just leave. So the safe thing is that if you're really wanting your brain to heal, you don't do any drugs. Because our brain can't heal as long as we're putting toxic chemicals into our body. Because first of all, our bodies aren't developed or designed at all to process alcohol to poison them.
One other quick thing, I can't remember if you said this was part of the Strong Arm program or not, but are there peer and mentoring groups?
Yes, there are. So it also includes, like I said, counseling, intensive outpatient program, as well as our wonderful social workers. If you haven't met them at the Facts Clinic, they're great. I also know there's social workers like at SAFE and other places too, which are just as great. But with part of the Strong Arm, you get that added benefit of having another social worker work really close with you, as well as peer mentors, or what we call patient navigators. One who help you, if you're having a hard time getting your dental referral, or you're needing help finding, assistance with housing, or you're needing help with this, they can help you get that fixed, right? If you're needing whatever resource you're looking for, they're going to try to help you. And then also other people who are patient navigators have experience with addiction themselves and are in recovery from substances, so that they can also relate, right? Because I don't know about you, but sometimes it's hard to take advice from people who have never been there, right? Like, first of all, I am HIV negative. All I can do is empathize with you guys. I cannot be there with you in that regard, but so that's why a support group like this is so great, right? You can look at each other and you automatically know what it was like when you saw that diagnosis.
Can you tell us again what the qualifications are to be in the strong arm?
Any type of substance use, and HIV positive or at risk.
Okay.
That's it.
So you don't have to
And you don't have to be a
pass
patient
initial
of the
drug
fax clinic.
There's no drug test with me. There's no drug test at the fax clinic at all.
Okay.
It's only if you want to go to lifetime intensive outpatient program, and that's optional. You do not have to do that. There's a survey at the beginning that they do with you. It takes a while. At 6 months, they do another survey. You get a gift card, and at 12 months, you get a gift card. It's like $30 HEB gift card, something
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
20, 30,
Yeah. Is it 30?
I want to say 20.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's 30. It's
Yeah.
20, please.
And you don't need a referral.
You just let me know, let the clinic know, you walk in. For anybody who doesn't know where the fax clinic is, reach out to any of the people here. It's downtown University Hospital, Robert B. Greene. You know, and you don't even have to get your HIV care at University Health. You could be getting your care anywhere. Okay, so the medical care doesn't have to be with us. Okay, that's not a prerequisite or anything. And then, you know, the other thing too is, if, you know, first of all, you know, I'm the only counselor there. So if for some reason you don't want to work with me, you don't want to work with a female, you prefer to work with a male, or, you know, sometimes personalities, they just clash, that's fine too. But don't use that as an excuse to not get help. You know, go to another place. Okay, I'm never going to get my feelings hurt, first of all, because it's your therapy, it's not mine. You know, so if you need help, don't let something like that be a barrier to it. Okay, we can always find you someone else to talk to. And anyone other questions?
I think that's pretty much it. We want to thank you, Stacy. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
I'd love to have you back at some point.
Sure. And you know, anybody who's on online on Facebook Live, or any of you guys, you know, if there are certain things that you want to talk about, you know, think about it. You know, I can always give out some resources too.
Can we post your email? Can we post your email? Okay.
For sure,
And then
sure. And I've got my business card. You can take a picture of it and post it if
Okay.
you'd like. You know, reach out. I mean, first of all,
Like you said, if you can't help somebody else.
yeah, well, it's brave to let yourself be vulnerable. Okay, that's not a weakness. Like, once somebody can actually truly see who you are and accept you, that's probably like one of the most wonderful feelings you can ever have in your life, because you don't have to walk around hiding who the hell you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can just be honest about it. Like, yeah, you know, I've done some pretty stupid things in my life. Yeah, I've got some mental health issues. I'm trying to work on it. I take medication. Yes, I struggle with addiction. Yes, I have HIV, and sometimes I just want to die and I don't want to take my medicine. Okay. That's okay. Let's work on it from there. You know.
Guys, Stacey's good. She's my counselor for I cried on her chair quite a few times, and when I'm mistaken.
Yeah, and you know, guys, I truly, you know, if you want to do that, walk into my office, I do. You touch my heart. I want the best for you. Okay, even people I have never met, you know, I want the best for you. And if you're struggling, don't be afraid. Reach out. You know, no one's gonna bite you. I'm not gonna make you do anything. You can even ask. I really don't even give homework. Occasionally.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank
Really.
you.
Very welcome.
No, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Stacy. We really appreciate it. Real quick, Mark, come here.
Margaret's like, no.
I think I forgot to have him come up here and tell us who he is and how he's doing. So we're going to hear from Mark real quick, and then we're going to tell you about some upcoming things that we're going to be talking about.
Okay, I'm Mark. Are you good?
Hey, Mark.
Tell us what you do.
What did I do
Take
today?
us out, Mark.
Yeah. Aren't you like the president of Living Positive or something like that?
Something like that.
Something like that.
So, let you guys know, we are having in-person, it's a limited seating. If you guys want to join us, you need to contact me. Be sure you're going to show up. That's about it. That's about it.
Voting.
Don't
Who
forget.
voted?
Don't forget to
Who
vote.
voted? This guy.
Early voting started today.
How long should we?
So I hope you did vote. If not, you got until the 30th.
Okay.
Their election day is on November 3rd. Some of the things we're going to be talking about in probably the next couple of weeks is body shaming, self-love. I think we have a couple other topics that we want to talk about. So make sure you join us. I'll be here next week, which will be the 20th. And other than that, thank you. We're over and out. Have a good night.